This is me.
This is me.
This is me.
这是我.
This is me.
This is me.
And this is us.
Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of This Is Us, an interview show where I give you guys the opportunity to meet some blind individuals in the community, get to know a little bit more about them and what all they have to offer. So today, I have with me Bryan with a Y, Velazquez. Say hey, Bryan.
Yes. What's going on, my beautiful people? What's up?
So real quick, Bryan, I always ask for all of my guests to give a little description about themselves. But because I'm total, I want you to give it from the perspective of describing all of you to somebody who is completely blind.
Well, I am a male, 5'6". I have black hair. I wear glasses. I'm skinny.
Okay.
I'm fly.
Okay.
Sexy. And I have hairy legs. I have a beard in my face.
Okay.
I have a beard.
Okay.
The face has a little bit of meat in it.
Okay. Okay. I see you. You painting the picture. I see it. I see you.
Yeah.
So real quick, I always ask everybody, what is the nature of your vision loss and how long have you been dealing with it?
Well, I was born premature. I was born 3 pounds, 1 ounce. So my mom was 6 months pregnant when she gave birth to me.
Okay. Wow.
So I was not supposed to live.
Okay.
I was not supposed to, I was a miracle baby, basically.
Okay. And then at this point, what is the amount of vision that you have? Like, is it just lights or?
Light perception.
Got you. Okay.
Yes.
So it almost kind of makes me wonder, is it something similar? Because I know that Stevie Wonder was a preemie, and I think he lost his vision in the incubator as well, right?
That is correct, yes.
Okay, so it's similar to
correct.
That. Okay. So, real quick, as we get this interview on the roll, or, moving on here, I hear an accent, a really quite thick accent, sir. So can you tell us what your nationality is and where you're from?
My family originated from the Dominican Republic.
Okay.
But I was born here, so I do have that Dominican New York accent, so.
Oh, okay. So that's what it is. It's that New York sounding accent.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yep.
So look, like everybody else always asks, so what part of New York?
Upper Manhattan. Dykeman, to be exact. Wash Heights, Inwood,
Okay.
So, I'm Dykeman.
Okay. So, I always hate to have to bring this up, but especially with everything that's taking place now, I know for a minute there, New York was like the epicenter of all the, COVID-19 stuff. So right now, what is life like in New York?
Well, things are picking back up. For most of it, I was away in the Carolinas, helping my sister with the nieces. So making sure they did their remote learning and that they're schooling. But when it was really in full effect, New York was silent. Like, I would see videos of Times Square silent. There'll be not one person in sight. Like, it'll be, it'd be crazy. Sad. But thankfully, things are picking up. There's outdoor dining, no indoor dining, but outdoor dining, which I'm not too fond of, but it's something. New York is going in the right direction, and the cases are lower than it has been in months. So,
well, that's good.
Go New York for that.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, hopefully you guys continue on the same rate and stuff like that, because it's getting crazy out here. So,
yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Definitely.
Yeah. So, for those of you guys who may not know, our Mr. Velazquez is actually a part of, and I hope that I'm pronouncing this right. Is it the Big Apple Circus?
The Big Apple Circus, yes.
So, and it's funny because I never met anybody who actually held this position before, but you're the ringmaster. Is that correct?
I do the opening monologue for certain performances, such as Circus of the Senses, which I'll get into in a minute, and the Circus Embraces Autism performances.
Okay. So, well, first off, exactly what is the Big Apple Circus? Is it, so it's just essentially it's just a circus? Is that what it is?
Okay.
Or?
So here's the thing with the Big Apple Circus. So the Big Apple Circus was founded in 1977 by two jugglers, Paul Binder and Michael Christensen.
Okay.
They both worked at a circus in, it was called, I can't remember the name of it, but it was a circus in Italy. I believe, was it Italy? I think it was Cirque de Paris.
Okay.
And they both were jugglers. Then they worked in, they originally met in San Francisco.
Okay.
Then worked in the Cirque, whatever, I hope I'm pronouncing it right, de Paris.
Okay.
Then they took their talents to New York and decided to come up with the Big Apple Circus, which was, and I quote, because they went bankrupt in 2016 and they were a non-for-profit organization.
Okay.
Now, in lieu of that non-for-profit status that they had, Michael Christensen and Paul Binder decided to implement outreach programs, and one of which was Circus of the Senses, which is a performance that allows children who are sight and hearing impaired to enjoy the performance through ASL interpretation and audio description. For those of you who don't know, ASL interpretation is the sign language when they communicate with the hands.
Right.
The audio description is the headsets that they give. So what happens is there is a play-by-play team in the back which describes every twist, every turn, every detail, every color of the lights, the music, the tone of the music, and of course the ring, how it's set up, the changing of the ring curb, the performers, their costumes, and all of the acts themselves and what's going on in each act.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yes.
And it sounds very detailed.
Yes, it is. It's very detailed.
Huh.
Very detailed.
And so,
I, myself, used to attend when I was a kid, a child.
okay.
Since an infant, I used to attend the circus for many, many, many years. And to give back and to work for them is amazing. Besides opening up for the show, I also do the costumes. So what I do is we have the children come in and I coordinate with the wardrobe specialist and we facilitate the pre-touch therapy session, which allows children to come into the ring and they get to try on the costumes, feel the costumes, try on hats, and take beautiful pictures.
Wow.
So it's amazing. It's an amazing experience.
Wow. I feel like they should have more of that, like, out in America, like, for people to, which I'm assuming maybe they do, but I mean that's amazing, like, to really cater towards that demographic and really let them have that full experience, you know.
Definitely.
So how did you get linked up with being the announcer, if you will, for the Big Apple Circus?
Great question. So, excuse me. Great question. So when I started in 2017 as the wardrobe, I was put on to do the costume and touch therapy session.
Okay.
So started in 2017, still working at Coney Island. And what had happened was I had reached out to the woman who's in charge, the community programs director, Lisa Lewis. Shout out to her.
Okay.
Mind you, I was 26 at the time, and I'm 29 now, by the way.
Okay.
So, you know, and that was their first season coming back. It was a comeback season for them because they were closed for a year. What better way to give back and take part in this glorious occasion?
Yeah.
You know, in joining them and celebrating their 40th anniversary.
Right.
So, you know, it was a sweet moment for everybody and all their company, and they got to meet so many wonderful people and the ushers and everyone. It was a great experience that first day. I even got interviewed with New York One, expressing how it was for me as someone who was 3 years old, because I do remember that. I do remember vividly just going and being scared and walking into the big top and feeling this sense of what planet is this?
Right.
So, all these years attending, and I did mention that to her, she made me write a blurb on what it was like, and she shared it with the whole company.
Wow.
And with that being said, we built a wonderful working relationship. Me and the cat, everyone involved.
Right.
And the following year, I did the same thing. And we have something called the post-touch session, where the kids come into the ring, get to feel the props, get to touch the costumes, talk to the performers, speak to the, feel the animals, meet the clowns and whatnot. They get to touch the apparatus. And if there's instruments, they get to play the instruments. If there's instruments used in the show, because they do have a live band. So in some years they've had instruments where they get to, play the instruments and whatnot. So it's an amazing experience. And the ringmaster that year was a woman. Her name was Stephanie Monsu. Never forget.
Okay.
She was in censor, and she was like, "Would you like the mic? Hey, it's Stephanie, the ringmaster." She thought I was one of the participants, one of the clients, one of the audience members. Little did she know I was dressed up in a shirt, pants, slacks, and like dress shoes. So
right.
I could have said no. I just took the mic, and I was like, "Come into the ring for a touch therapy session. Make your way into So I welcome everyone in. Then they call me back again to close out the day. A thank you, a close out thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I gave the closing remarks. We all parted our ways. But as I was, we were all getting ready to leave, I hear side chatter. And they come up to me and they're like, "Whoa, you should be this. You should be a DJ. You should be that. You should blah, blah, blah. You'll be awesome. You'll be awesome."
Uh-huh.
I'm like, okay, this chatter is giving me a feeling here. This is pretty interesting. So the next day comes, I come in normally, dressed up, appropriate attire, on time, doing what I need to do, and whatnot. So they're like, "We need to speak to you." I was like, okay, what is going on? What happened? I'm here on time. I did what I need to do.
Right.
I'm ready for my duties. What is going on? They're like, "We need you to open up our show. We need you to be our guest ringmaster." I was like, sure.
Right.
Why not? You don't know what this can lead to down the road.
Right.
You know what gigs that can open up.
Right.
So I did it that first year, 2018, and I did it again this past year.
Okay.
So, and I hope to do it again in the future once everything
calms down.
With Corona. Yeah.
Yeah. It's amazing. You never know what doors will open up for you. That is really cool.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. So, obviously you guys, I've had a chance to speak with Bryan, separate from this. And I got to say, he actually seems to play aside from being the ringmaster for the circus, he actually seems to play a really active role in advocacy and just, helping out in the community and bringing awareness to blindness and people with disabilities. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. I recently took part in, obviously before all this happened, I took part in 2 reports. One was Fox 5 and one was NYC Radio. So Fox 5 did a special shoot on the transit accessible lab at Brooklyn's Metro Tech Center.
Okay.
And this lab consisted of products up and coming, displaying different, forms of technology that would be up and coming for the New York City subway system.
Okay.
So I decided to take part. I was chosen to take part in a report.
Okay.
Through an organization called Visions. And little did I know, the person who had invited me and who had reached out to me was one of my mobility instructors from back in the day. When I was in high school, she did some in-home training and neighborhood training.
Okay.
Her name was Anna Lynn.
Okay.
So she called, and I didn't really recognize her voice. I was like, "Oh, good to meet you." But then when we saw each other, I was like, "Oh, it's her. This is her. There she is. This is Anna Lynn. Oh, wow, this is her from my high school years."
Right.
I was like, oh, it's you. And so we did the report, and we took the reporter on a journey with Ira. So I showed her how we did Ira. I showed her how the map would work. So they had a talking map. We would press down. It's raised, and it'll tell you you're at the F train. You're at the R train. Right. R train to the right. R train. Ding.
Right.
R train. And you would follow the map, and it has it in Braille. And when you would tap on it, for those people who may not have good Braille, maybe not have good Braille skills, or who are travelers in training, this would be great tools of technology for those individuals.
Okay.
So, yes, that was a good report to do.
Okay.
And we did that, and that was, of course, featured in the Fox 5 News at 10 one day. And we did I did an NYC radio report. The series is called We the Commuters. It focuses on how does a person navigate the transit system on a day-to-day basis with a disability. Okay? And one of the tools that we used, again, was Ira. And one of the things that I mentioned was my neighborhood. Okay? Everyone knew me around the neighborhood. Right. Everyone was so used to seeing me attached with someone. Okay? Mm-hmm. Not walking alone, right. Flying down the street, right. With somebody.
Right.
Okay? So, if I disattach, what happens? I'm disattached. I'm walking down that street by myself on my cane. By the way, people who aren't able to see, I'm moving my hand left and right to demonstrate the use of the cane for those of you who can't see.
Right.
So, the first instinct on everyone's mind was, he escaped. Mm-hmm. I see it as, the metaphor I use is as it's like an elephant had escaped a circus.
Right.
Okay? No one was used to that. It was something everyone had to get acclimated to. There was a lot of acclimation and adjusting that had to be done in all parts. Yeah. So, my family was called numerous times by people. I didn't find out until my later years. I'm like, what? All this happened? Whoa, like, woof, it's crazy.
Right.
That shows how much people care.
Oh, yeah.
It's annoying, but
oh, yeah,
they do care.
Yeah.
And when I was in high school, when I first started high school, I took the school bus, and then I started taking Accessoride, or a Stress-a-Ride, as most paratransit people would call it here in New York, and other paratransit systems where the trains and the buses are not on time. Either they're too early or they're too late. So that's why here in New York we call it a Stress-a-Ride here in New York. So maybe there's a term for it down there in, Georgia or other states.
Right.
So the time came where I traveled by myself, finally took the city bus to school. What was it like? If any of you remember Goldilocks, okay, what happened to Goldilocks? There were 3 bowls of porridge.
Right.
1 bowl of porridge was too hot, 1 bowl of porridge was too cold, and 1 bowl of porridge was just right.
Right.
What happened to me? The bowl of porridge that was just right. I didn't get to school too early, nor too late.
All right.
Because the problem with Accessoride was that I would get there way too early. It'd even be dark outside, and I have to wait outside. Especially like in the wintertime, because school started at 7:45. So the Accessoride would drop me off like, 6:30 at times, 6:45. An hour early. Mind you, I didn't live too far, so it was like a good 15-minute drive. So, yeah.
Interesting. Well, I know you've also done some work with the dementia patients too, right?
I have. Oh, do I have a story about that? Let me throw in some chopstick because this is going to really dry the mouth up. Do I have a story about that?
Okay.
So, dementia patients. Dementia patients, it's an adventure.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of acclimation you have to do. There is a lot of, let me just make sure I'm censored. Beautiful. Okay. There's a lot of acclimation that has to be done. There's a lot of transition. There's a lot of learning in my part that I have to do, especially someone who's blind and or visually impaired. Okay?
Okay.
One thing is your impulses, your reactions. Why do I say that? Okay? Let's say you're in the dining room with, dementia patients, eating a nice lunch. Oh my God, what is it? What is it? You're going to have random outbursts.
Oh, wow.
Okay? For someone like me who's new to the outburst, they'll be like, oh my God, what's going on? And by the way, guys, for those of you who can't see, I'm flinching. I'm like moving to show desperateness.
Right.
So what's going on here? What's going on? What's happening? Oh my goodness. Why are they doing that? Why is he or she doing that? And my supervisor constantly had to tell me, it's okay, it's fine. Even the companions, the home companions that they had. So that was a big transition for me. I had to work on my impulses because if I continued doing that, that would exasperate the behaviors.
Right.
And this is why they had a training, thank goodness. It was called the I'm Still Here approach. It was a book written by John Zeisel, founder of Hearthstone. So what is the I'm Still Here approach? The I'm Still Here approach is a reminder that, yes, they may have dementia, they may have poor memory, they may have limited short-term and long-term memory, but they are still here, they are still human, they are aware of their five senses, and they, in the heat of the moment, they definitely know who you are, what you bring to the table, and they still see your vibes. Okay. So you definitely have to be careful how you act. Definitely.
Right.
So that was a big thing for me to come across, and my movements. So for those of you who can't see, I have the cane in my hand. So I was sitting down. So guys, I'm sitting down right now. And so let's pretend I have the cane on the floor. Okay.
Right.
So I'm going to pretend my supervisor's calling me. All right, Bryan, you're, your shift. Come with me to my office. So let's pretend I was going to the office, right?
Right.
So I'll get up. And there's a resident by accident. So I took the cane, I was opening it, and it hit the resident by accident because I didn't know he was that close.
Okay.
I didn't realize he was really that close. What just happened there? So he's grabbing me, grabbing the cane and grabbing me at the same time. And everybody, there was some home companions and my supervisor and the executive director, which was her supervisor. They were right there because we were doing our afternoon program.
Right.
But I had to step out to the office. So everybody's like, oh, and I'm like, oh. But we calmed them down. Everybody was like, it's okay to the client. I'm not going to say names because of HIPAA.
Right.
So no names are going to be said here. So he calmed down finally. I walked away. I was bothered, completely bothered. I was upset at myself because one thing, and it's a habit that I've worked on. I've gotten better at it, but I do have my moments. I'm very hard on myself for everything. I always was very, very, even in school, I was very hard on myself. Even for stuff like that, why did I do that? Oh, and I would dwell on it over and over again. And I dwelled on it for a little bit, and then my supervisor, we spoke, and, she was like, next time, definitely be careful. Definitely watch your surroundings and ask who's around. I know you're young, you're quick, you're agile, but you have to watch where you're going. It's not about being independent. It's about being safe.
Right.
It's about being safe and being careful with the residents, because you don't want to cause injury to yourself nor the residents.
Right.
And that was a huge challenge. And the impulses and trying to figure out the behaviors and just communicating.
Yeah.
So and so, take this, put it in the tray, because we will do sorting with the clients. So, for example, Dominique, take this, put it in the tray.
Okay.
And hand over hand was a big plus, because I have done it. I have experienced that growing up, and especially like in art class when they guide your hand to use the paintbrush and to draw, like they'll guide your hand. Like some of the school assistants would guide, like the school parents in our classes, like would guide your hand and go here, go there. So hand over hand was a big plus, a big skill that I had. So some people said it was soothing because my hands are pretty soft.
Oh,
so, yeah.
Okay. Well,
to them, they were pretty soft. So, so that was a big plus for me. And it was an adventure. It's been an adventure, and just getting to know the different impulses. And some patients do have good memory. Like they remember stuff from, long term. They come up with some pretty interesting facts. Like you have people that remember when they used to live in their grandparents' house back in like 1917, or they may remember an event or how they used to go to church, but it'll be in fragments. It's not going to be the full story sometimes. But if you strike up a good conversation, they will definitely talk to you about their past, and you're like, wow.
Yeah.
Like, for example, what tree that you have? What does the smell of pine remind you of? So let's take your finger. Let's put your hand inside the sand. Let's guide your hand into the sand. What does the sand feel like? What does it remind you of? And some people may talk about the beach, or when they used to live, for example, in Jamaica or the islands. And so sand is a big therapy for dementia patients that have lived in the islands.
Right.
So that's a big. Or music, even music, they'll sing stuff like, hail, hail, the gang's all here. But the heck do we care? Songs like that, or, oh, you beautiful doll, you great big beautiful doll. Let me lap my arms around you. Right? So stuff like that, songs from their time, because it brings them back to, you're not going to play Fetty Wap or Drake or, no, because they're not going to, or, you play something like Nat King Cole. So, long story short, working with dementia, it's a ride. It's a ride. You learn a lot, you gain a lot, and you just, it's a lot to digest, but it's amazing.
And definitely hats off to you, because I mean, even with this conversation just now, I feel like I've learned so much, and I know that's definitely got to be like you said, it definitely has to take you out your comfort zone. And I can tell you have to have passion for exactly what it is that you do, and wanting to help these people, and and like you said, not even get frustrated or aggravated yourself in the process of helping them, because I know it can be jarring at times. So definitely hats off.
I've had my moments. It's not an easy walking the bar. That's with everything.
Oh yeah, definitely. So real quick, as we get ready to draw this to a close, I want to ask you for a favor. But before I do that, for people who want to actually go and maybe see some of these clips, or follow you, or maybe find out more information, where can they go?
So you can follow me at Bryan Velazquez at Facebook, Bryan Velazquez 809. So remember the Dominican area code 809 at Instagram.
Okay.
And Bryan Velazquez at YouTube.
Okay, cool. Okay. And then as far as the Big Apple Circus, they can just go and just search for that on Google or whatnot?
if anybody wants the video, I can definitely share it. It's also on Facebook. It's also on my YouTube page.
Okay. Okay, cool. And I'll also be sure to put links and stuff in the bottom in the comments for you guys who want to go ahead and take a look at it as well. So, I don't know if you'll be able to do this, because I don't know if, you know, how everybody is where you're at right now. But when I hear Ringmaster, I always hear like a, you know, a big, loud, boisterous voice that just announce. Can you announce or do an announcement for my show for Blind Justice?
And now, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, here is the master himself from Columbus, Georgia, host of Blind Justice, Dominic A. Parker.
I'm going to have to take that and chop it up. I'm going to have to start using that. Well, anyways, Bryan, thank you so much for this interview. It was great getting to know a little bit more about you guys, and I hope you guys learned a little bit about him as well.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure being on the show, and hopefully we have many more stories to come, many more interviews. And thank you guys for watching. And definitely, no matter your disability, don't let any dream shatter.
Yeah.
Keep going, keep following your dreams. I know even during this time it's going to be hard, but when definitely things are going to get better, and there are definitely better days ahead. So hold your heads up. We in this blind community, we all going to make it somewhere. We don't know where, but we all going to make it somewhere with the grace of God, with patience, perseverance. All right.
Yeah.
So all my blind community out there, hugs and kisses to all of y'all.
All right, now that's what I like to hear. So we'll be seeing you guys on the next episode.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Ciao.
Hey guys, this is Dominic, and I want to thank you guys for tuning in to some more of my content. But if you haven't done so already, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my Facebook page, Blind Justice. See you guys on the next go round.